Well, good morning and welcome to the FSB National Webinar on Stopping the Overwhelm. We're hoping to be looking at the specific challenges that combining motherhood and running a business can bring, and we hope to offer you some tips and suggestions to help cope with these. I definitely need those. So thank you for joining us today. I will shortly be handing over to our guest speaker, Dr. Dunni, and after her presentation, Dr. Dunni will be taking questions. So please use the questions to panelists button to send over them, and we will endeavour to answer as many as possible. Today's session will be recorded and shortly after on our on-demand page on the FSB website, in case you want to watch it again or if you want to share it. If you aren't yet an FSB member, we would love to have the opportunity to speak to you about the benefits of joining. So please do visit our website at www.fsb.org.uk to book a meeting with a membership advisor. So it's now my absolute pleasure to introduce Dr. Dunni. Dr. Dunni is an award-winning mum, empowerment coach. She's a family doctor, an international speaker, a best-selling author, host on the Wellbeing for Mothers show, and CEO of the Drua Academy. So welcome, Dr. Dunni.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here. So thank you so much for this beautiful day. And first of all, I'd like to say, welcome everyone. I am thrilled to be able to share with you that we do not have to all be like pulling our hair out, being in that space of stress and overwhelm, but we need to step into love. And that is the topic for today. So before we get into like all the slides and all the rest of that, I want you to take a moment. And if you're sat down, great. If you're driving, please don't close your eyes, okay? But just stay for a moment and take a deep breath in with me. And breathe out. That's just to bring us into the moment, because when we are in the moment, we're able to experience a lot of goodness. So I'll start sharing my slide now and share this very important part with you. So the way I like to do my presentations is more like lots of fun, because I believe that life is to be enjoyed. It's not to be endured. Always remember that it is to be enjoyed, not endured. And so when you have all these things like work, business, children, family, all those commitments, putting you in a place where you're overwhelmed, we need to stop for a moment. So of course, I've been introduced already. I am a family doctor. I'm the mom empowerment coach. I'm also a speaker and best-selling author of the book, Every Mom is a Super Mom. And this is for you as a mother who is running a business, because first of all, your job is being you. But most of the time we forget that we need to be ourselves. We are things for everybody else. And as a matter of fact, when we look at ourselves, sometimes we can, because we are doing everything for everyone else, then forget to do things for ourselves. And that is where the overwhelm comes in. Now you might say, oh my goodness, Dr. Dunni, you know all the stuff, you're perfect, you're fine, you're crushing it. But overwhelm is no respecters of persons. It affects everybody across board. Everyone gets that exposure to factors that lead to overwhelm and sometimes even to burnout. But we don't want to get to that stage. And so on this day, when we are connecting in a beautiful space like this, and for those who are going to be watching the replay, you will be able to take this moment just for you. So I am a mother and I love being a mother. But in addition to being a mother, I have so many other hats. I'm a doctor And because I was working full-time as a doctor, going to the hospital, having my own calls and taking care of my beautiful children, there was a lot of strain at that time. And then life hit me hard. My father passed away. The grief was overwhelming. It was phenomenally crushing. And what I found was it took a toll on my well-being of mind, body, soul, and spirit. And that crushing sensation was something that I really do not wish for anyone to have, because the impact is so, so real. And all this continued until one moment. There is a time in our lives that something switches, something changes. And that moment is that breaking point. That moment was when one day under the duvet, it was a winter morning, Saturday morning, my daughter comes up to me and says, Mommy, let's go out to play. And here I am, I'm someone that loves fun, like I said earlier, and I love playing with my children, but I was so weak, so exhausted, so tired and stressed out that I did not have the energy to get up and play. And while she was doing that, her brother was toddling along, you know, those little cute babies that really try to reach the coats, but they can't quite get it. That was my son. And he was trying to get the coats off so that we all go outside. But I looked at her and smiled and I said, come into bed and cuddle with mommy. And as she climbed into bed to cuddle with me, so did her little brother. And as I held them, that was the moment I knew something had to change. I had to find a way, because this overwhelm was crushing me. This overwhelm was breaking my well-being and impacting the lives of my children, who I hold so dear. And so going through all the courses and coaching and all that, research, science, everything, I was able to come through with very practical things that we as mothers can use on a daily basis to improve our well-being. And that is what I'm sharing with you. Because the first step to getting out of overwhelm is stepping into love for you. So I would like to ask you all a question, and we're going to do it in a poll, okay? I'm going to ask you a very important question. And it is, do you sometimes feel overwhelmed? I know that sometimes we might think, oh gosh, what am I going to do? Is this something that you feel that the world is on your shoulders? Things are just, pushing you down. You feel that pressure. Sometimes it comes in your body in form of a heartache, or palm sweating, or just feeling tired. Perhaps you were like me, under the duvet, not having the energy. So it's just a yes or no. We're just going to give you a few more seconds. Do you sometimes feel overwhelmed? And this is not a criticism, because we all feel that every now and again, okay? So please feel free and just be true to yourself. This is a moment for you. This is a time you're taking for yourself. All right? Oh, wow. Now this is 100%. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for answering, because today we're going to explore how we can move forward from feeling that overwhelm and stepping into love. 100%. That is very important for us to remember, because we can go on this journey together. I love this quote that says, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. Some people will think, I'm not feeling great right now, but I want to feel better. And I see that a lot, especially as a family doctor. Someone was not feeling well and suddenly wants to feel better, just like that. Sometimes it takes one single step. And your single step today was signing up and showing up for this webinar. And I really applaud you for that. So I'm going to go quickly through what we're going to cover today. So first of all, we're going to look at 3 different steps, okay? The first part is recognizing the signs, okay? Now, I'm not going to turn you into doctors, even though, yes, I'm a family doctor and I train medical students as well. I'm not going to turn you into doctors. It's just for you to be aware, helping you with that awareness. The second step is to identify contributing factors. And this is where you become like Sherlock Holmes, you become a detective, okay? And you do something about it. And then the third is when you take those steps into love, okay? So I hope you're excited because today, woo, it's going to be fantastic. Okay, so the first step is recognizing the signs. Whenever people come to see me in clinic, they say things like, I don't know, I'm doctor, I'm not feeling great. And I ask them, so tell me, how are you feeling at the moment? And they go through a few maybe symptoms and signs. And one thing that I have noticed is they say, I don't know if this is relevant, but I feel like, and they state how they feel. Why I share that with you is because your body is always talking to you. Sometimes it talks in whispers. It's just going, oh, I don't feel so great. And then when you don't listen or you decide to procrastinate, push it to the side, it then starts to talk in whimpers. And then it's go, oh, I'm really not feeling great. Come on, do something about this. And then when you ignore that or you don't pay attention to that, it starts to scream and shout. And that is when you start to feel all those symptoms that you might come with, the headache, the feeling tired all the time, the muscle aches, the muscle pains. But we will go through that in a moment. So when we talk about recognizing the signs, we need to recognize both the ones that are very overt and the ones that are subtle. And by doing that, we will be able to pick up very important signs before they become very detrimental to our health. We catch them before they become irreversible changes or things that leave scars. So I'm going to help by looking at the whole human body and working you through from head to toe how this works. But one basic concept we need to look at is stress. How many of you have heard about stress? Yeah, stress is one of those things that many people think, oh my God, it's a bad thing to be stressed. Well, stress is a normal response. The human being is meant to be able to experience stress and cope with stress. You see, you and I are so blessed that when we experience different challenges in our lives, perhaps in your business, and this is very important, I'm going to talk about that in a moment. In your business, unexpected things happen. In your life, unexpected things happen. And all these things create a stress response. And the way you manage that response dictates what's going to happen in your body and in your day-to-day activities. When you have stress, maybe a trigger, something happened, your response is your chemicals, the stress chemical we call cortisol. It's produced and available for you to handle the stress. However, the stress is not meant to be there all the time. It's supposed to pass. You're supposed to deal with it, handle it, or escape from it. So that's why we talk about the fight, flight, or freeze response. So when you freeze, you're hoping the thing just walks away. That threat just goes away. When you run away from it, you're taking yourself away. When you fight, you're fighting with the aim of getting rid of that thing. And the stress trigger leaves so that your stress chemical can reduce. But guess what? In today's day and age, which is not the time when, like our ancestors fighting all the wild animals in the forest, We are dealing with things that day-to-day life that sometimes we can't run away from, we can't fight, and we feel helpless. And that is very important for us to recognize, that we should not get to a point of helplessness, okay? Because that leads to overwhelm. So remember the cortisol that I told you about? That chemical has an impact on every organ in our body from top to toe. And I'm going to work you through it. So this slide is a little bit crowded, only because I want you to understand how this works. When cortisol is released, it can, and is sustained at a high level, it can cause you to have symptoms like headaches. Maybe you're feeling foggy. You're not very clear in your thinking. Why? Because blood flow is enhanced to parts of your body that are aimed at getting you out of that situation, either by running away. So the blood flow goes to your limbs, your arms and your legs, or to fight, perhaps that way. And as a result, it's not going as well to your frontal cortex, which is your problem-solving, reasoning part of you. Sometimes you might present as having increased forgetfulness. Very importantly, people present with things like low mood, being very irritable. Maybe you're snapping at your employees, you're snapping at your kids, you're snapping at your partner, you're snapping at strangers, you're having maybe a road rage. All these things are indicators that there is something not quite right. And that stress response needs to be addressed if it's something that is going on for a while. When you are under a lot of stress and the cortisol level is sustained at a high level, it does not allow for the normal mechanism of the body. In the normal human body, your cortisol levels are released in the morning. The highest level is usually about 9 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. And that's when we cope with everything that comes our way. As the day goes by, it should subside. And as it subsides, there's a chemical called melatonin, which starts to rise to help us with sleep. When cortisol is not going down because you're still stressed at the night time, your melatonin secretion is also impaired and affected such that you present with poor sleep. So you wonder why you're struggling to sleep, you're waking up tired, and all those things in between. Very importantly, cortisol also has an impact on your cells that protect you from infection. And so when you're under immense stress, you're feeling overwhelmed, you will have manifestations of an impaired immune system. So you will be able to pick up every cold and cough that comes your way and everything else that floats in the air. So you can imagine when people are under a lot of stress, these things happen. So they can't even work in their business. They're kind of sick, having those symptoms that make them unable to function. And you wonder why. There are also some other metabolic irregularities, all the chemicals that should be flowing normally, they start to act in an erratic manner. You remember at the beginning of this session, I told you all to take a deep breath with me, in and out. That is a very important thing that you can do to help you deal with increased stress at any given time. It just takes a few seconds. Why? Because when your cortisol level is high, your usual breathing level when you're under that immense stress is fast and shallow. And when it's fast and shallow, you are like in a state of panic. You're not getting enough oxygen flowing around your body because instead of your lungs to be fully filled up with air, it's only partially filled up. And as a result of that, all the cells in the body start to suffer because they're not getting enough oxygen. Another very important thing to note is the impact it has on your blood vessels and your heart. Your heart starts to beat faster. The tension in the blood flowing in your blood vessels starts to increase, and that causes high blood pressure. I'll give you an example, a practical example of how this works. I had a lady come see me in clinic, and after discussing how I could help her, what her symptoms were, I checked her blood pressure and it was really high. So I said, okay, why don't we do this again? And so I changed the discussion and we started talking about her last holiday. While we were talking about the holiday, guess what happened? I said, so what were the highlights of the holiday? And I was checking her blood pressure as she was talking, and she really probably enjoyed the holiday so much. She was all smiles now. She was flowing with her discussion. And by the time I checked the blood pressure, the level had decreased by a whopping 40 millimeters of mercury. That's for those who understand what that means. But it had reduced. Why? Because at that point, she had a kind of letting out of that stress that she was feeling when I was checking the blood pressure the first time. Another very important symptom for us to note, and the reason why I'm spending time on this is because the moment you're self-aware of the way your body speaks to you, you would not sweep it under the carpet. You would not take it for granted, but you would take action. Heartburn is another presentation that people present with when they are under a lot of stress. Sometimes it's reflux as well. Sometimes they have abdominal bloating or swelling, and the blood sugar control is out the window. Why? Because cortisol impacts the effect of insulin, which is the blood sugar regulating hormone. You can just imagine. So you see how sustained stress and overwhelm can impact your whole well-being, not just giving you all these symptoms, but also when it's sustained, can lead to hypertension, diabetes, adrenal fatigue and dysfunction, or even sometimes, especially with us mothers, hormone imbalance and menstrual irregularities. So you see why this is so important. And so it is very, very important for us to recognize the impact it's having on our health and well-being. Because as it's having that on us, we are also passing it on to those who are around us, and they are also experiencing these same symptoms. So it's that ripple effect that is not really getting us anywhere positive. So what do we do? That is where we're going to now step into understanding what are those things that cause us to be in a state of high stress and overwhelm. So are you all ready to put on your thinking caps, pick up your magnifying glass, and let's go on a hunt? Yes, awesome. Okay, so we're going to now find out what the contributing factors are in your life. And of course, your situation is different from mine and is different from the person next to you. So I want you, if you have a moment, just grab a pen and your journal, if you've got a journal, or if you haven't got a journal, get a book, a piece of paper, something to write on. And the good thing about this exercise is that it's something that you can revisit and you can do again and again at different points in your life, okay? So while I'm going through these contributing factors, I want you to write what is true for you. So looking at everything in your life, okay, you've got your children, you've got your partner, you've got your business. Maybe you also have a job. Maybe you have your parents that you're taking care of, or you've got family or friends or colleagues, whatever that is. All these people are in your life and you are expected, and I use the word expected, to do certain things to foster those relationships, right? These things can affect your well-being positively and negatively. So of course, factors that cause stress and overwhelm are multifactorial. And one of the the first ones I would like to explore are the physical factors. So the physical factors are the ones that you kind of see and you think, oh, okay, all right then. I'll see what I can do with this. Maybe you not eating right. You wake up late, you don't have enough time to eat breakfast, you're hungry, and then you go, you know what? I just go to the shop down the road and you buy certain foods that are inflammatory to your guts. That inflammation to your gut causes the release of chemicals, which kind of make you feel you're under a lot of stress. It's not great, but it is a physical factor that impacts you. So things you eat are part of those physical factors. Lack of sleep, part of those physical factors. Not having enough hydration, part of the physical factors. These physical factors can impact you in so many ways. So what is that for you at the moment? Sometimes you have certain things that are in your business that are stopping you or impeding your the process of you getting things done. Those could be other factors that can affect your stress level. Now, another very important one are the mental factors. Now, I need you to pay attention to this, because while you can see the physical factors, the mental factors are not particularly very obvious. We've got this amazing mind, and our minds can do anything. But you see, something about our minds is, as it can build and create realities that are powerful and beautiful and empowering, it can also crush those beautiful and empowering things. So whenever we focus on the negative thoughts, I'm not good enough, or something that someone else said to you, negative words, that affects your thinking. And by virtue of affecting your thinking, it limits your ability to actually step into your power. And I always say every mom is a super mom, not because of the super things that she does, but because of the superpowers she possesses within. And so even on those days when you're under the duvet, you're crying, you are a super mom. We need to recognize that about ourselves. Why? Because as mothers, we can create. And one of our superpowers, and I talk about this in my best-selling book, Every Mom is a Super Mom, is the power of creating things. You can switch that mental, this empowering thought to something that makes you able to take action and get things done. Because when you are in a place where you feel limited, you feel not good enough, it impacts on the next group of factors we're going to talk about, which are your emotional factors. Your emotional factors are all these emotions of fear, anger, guilt, shame, and all those things that are not very, very appealing. Why don't we raise our emotional vibrations to a place of hope, of love, of enlightenment? And then, of course, we have our social factors. Those are all the people around us, people in this amazing community, people in our businesses, in our places of work, people in our homes, our children, our loved ones. These factors can cause stress, but they can also alleviate stress. And I'll talk about that when we're talking about the steps in love. Financial factors. Now, that's a big one, especially for us as business owners. When you're a business owner, you're not just thinking about your personal finances, you're thinking about your business finances as well. And that can be a big, big issue if there are financial challenges in this space. And that's one reason why we need to be very aware of what it is, those factors that are affecting and contributing to our stress levels. And so at this point, I invite you to take a step with me. We're going to step into love right now. Okay? We all know that for us to take action, we need to make a decision. And decision that you make today makes a huge difference in your life. I decided to make a decision, to take a step, to make a change. At that time when I held my children and I was crying, as that time when I felt that brokenness, that was the day I made a decision. What is the moment of decision for you? It could be now. And when you make a decision, now you see great changes occur in your life. So are you ready? Because this step into love starts with you. I'm going to use this acronym for love, and we're going to break it down because every step that you take there expresses love for you so that you can reach out in love to others. And these steps of love will get you out into a space where you feel empowered and you can empower others as well. So let's get down to it. The L stands for learn to let go. How many of us are holding on to one thing that has happened in the past? This person did this, or this thing happened to me. And you're holding on to that because you're feeling that by letting that thing go, you are forgetting. No, we need to recognize that whenever we are holding on, we are causing issues. I'll do an experiment. I'll ask you to do something with me. So one thing I want you to do, I want you to grab a pen, okay? Grab a pen and hold it in your hand, okay? Hold it as tightly as you can. Just hold on to it. Hold on to it, okay? Now, I'm going to keep talking while you're holding on to your pen. And a time comes when you're going through life and you're holding on to things, and things start to happen, either at home, in your business, at work, and you start to see things occur. Your vibration in your emotions is that of maybe fear or anger, or perhaps you're getting apprehensive, or you might actually be feeling unworthy. What happens there? I don't know if you're already feeling this already. I've been holding this pen. Are you feeling any pain in your hands? You might be, yes, you might be feeling the pain. So I want you to let go. And you see what's happening to my hand? My hand is kind of stuck in that flexion before I can kind of let go and release my fingers. What we do when we hold on to certain things, especially the things that are not serving us, is that we are not loving ourselves. When we let go by setting ourselves free. That is an act of self-love and is something that can make a huge difference in your life. When we started, we did some breathing. I tend to recommend meditation to people. Now, some people might go, whoa, 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 meditation, seriously? Hear me out. Meditation doesn't mean you need to sit down cross-legged and go on. It means you need to be mindful of where you are. You can meditate as you sit down. You can meditate while you're standing. It's that mindfulness that comes into play. And I talk about the different types of mindfulness you can practice in my best-selling book. You can sit mindfully, you can listen mindfully, you can eat mindfully. Whoa, imagine that. Now, another very important thing you need to consider doing is forgiveness. Most importantly, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. And there, forgive others. Forgiving another person or forgiving yourself is not letting the person off the hook. It's letting you off the hook. So connect to that. Let go. and you will see the changes that occur in your life. And another very important thing I love to share with people is laughter. Sometimes we are so uptight, oh gosh, no, I'm the mother, I'm the boss, I need to do certain things a certain way. I mean, what stops you from laughing out loud, for goodness sakes? Just leave a little, laugh a little. That is an act of love for you. Learn to let go. Sometimes we need to tap into our inner child to remember. If you struggle at all, especially as a mother, of how to let go, just go play with your toddler, or the young children are very good at this. They know how to let go. Okay, so connect with them, connect with that inner child. It's so beautiful. Now this is where we as mothers need to look into outsourcing, delegating, automating. We are business owners. We tend to juggle a lot of things: life, work, business, this, that. When you are a mother in business, you need to learn to outsource. You need to learn to delegate. You need to learn to automate. Remember, when I talked about those social factors, all the people that are in your life, they are the people you need to kind of do a resource audit for. Your resource audit is to help you to know who you've got, what you've got, okay? And there you can outsource appropriately. Now, some people may say, oh my goodness, but I don't have enough money to pay for certain services. Who told you you need to pay for everything? Sometimes we need to recognize who is in our circle. Who can we say, can you help me? Now, the main problem here sometimes is that we don't want to ask for help because we think it's an act of weakness. No, it's an act of strength. Because when you ask for help, you're giving the other person the opportunity to be blessed. You're giving the other person the opportunity to feel useful. Yes. And when you ask for help, the other person can do it and you just take your hands off. No micromanaging, okay? And when you do your resource audit, you'll be able to kind of spread out some of the jobs, some of the tasks, some of the things that are weighing you down. Leverage is a very important thing, especially in this outsource journey of mothers in business. Leverage, you leverage your time. There are certain times when we are more optimized at doing certain things. Do it then. There are certain things that we are better at doing. Do them. Leave the ones you're not better at doing and give to someone who can do it better. And remember, technology is your friend. Now, I know a lot of people, some people are afraid of technology. We see the bad things, the shortcomings, but we can actually leverage technology to our advantage. Okay, now we go to V. Value me time. My goodness, this is so important because that is a very, very important act of love. Me time. And the key to valuing your me time is saying no often. I am a chronic people pleaser. When you say, could you help me with this? I'll say, sure, of course. Yeah, why not? I had to learn how to say no. Do you know who taught me? My son, when he was 2. He said something. You know, when you're telling your child, can you do this? Go do that. And you're dishing out the orders. My son comes to me with this beautiful smile on his face and he says, no, but that's a kind offer. Do you know that phrase has saved me so many times? You need to say no often. Listen to your body. Remember the awareness we talked about? Recognize those signs and make sure that every day you schedule time for yourself. Because what's not scheduled does not get done. And last but not least, express your needs. Express your needs. Know that you're not alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, hey, I'm here. You see, many of us, we feel that it's all about the doing, but we need to recognize that it's not about the doing, but it's about the being. When you express your needs, do it early, do it often. A time comes when people around you will know that, hey, I can chip in and do this. I don't need to pile all this on top of her. I can make this happen. And so rather than them say, oh, let me give you a box of chocolates and some flowers and some this on a certain day in the year, they know that if they do the dishes, that's going to make a huge difference. Express your needs. People are not mind readers. It is so important that we recognize that, okay? So it has been a very lovely time spending here talking about how we step out of overwhelm, recognizing those signs of overwhelm, recognizing the factors that contribute to that overwhelm, and stepping into love. The learn to let go, the outsource, automate, delegate, the valuing your me time, and expressing your needs. I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you. And I've just put a QR code. It's got all the social media links and stuff like that. So if you want to know a bit more, you want to connect with me, or you want to see what I'm doing, feel free to scan that code and connect with me. But before I go, I have got a very, very special gift for you. I know that many times we as mothers, we keep pushing ourselves hard. We keep pushing ourselves to a point where we feel we can't go further. And the problem is many people hit burnout. I have seen that many times. People have come with very high blood pressures, suddenly become diabetic, suddenly have one chronic health problem or another. Why? Because of the sustained overwhelm that has become burnout, that has made a very big problem to manifest in their lives. So if you are interested in doing a burnout prevention checkup, it's a series of questions you're going to answer. You just scan the QR code, just takes you through a series of questions and gives you a personalized plan. And the good thing about it is absolutely free. So gives you a personalized plan of what you can do, how you can do it, what you can take action on today to make a change in your life. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll probably open up for some questions if the questions are available. Yeah. And anything, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dr. Dunni. That was absolutely brilliant. There was lots that I'm going to take away. I think asking for help is something I am absolutely dreadful at. So I think that's my action plan for today. And I think little and often is exactly what I need to do. So absolutely brilliant, really brilliant. So thank you. We have had some questions in. So the first one is around solo parents, and this person shared that they adopted by themselves, so there is only one parent in their situation. So any specific advice around that? I guess particularly to the networks you spoke about, probably.
Yes, that is absolutely brilliant. And first of all, I have to say congratulations to this parent. And the next thing is, even if in your family you might be a solo parent, remember that you're in partnership with your child, with the people in your wider network. So that could be maybe if you've got family close by, or you've got friends close by, or sometimes, guess what? The parents of the children your child goes to school with, or goes to daycare with, or go to wherever with. This is your network. The world is a global village. Look at what we are doing right now, an online community where we can kind of come in, talk and say, oh, this is something that is affecting me. And we can say, hey, These are some tips, some tactics that I've used and it worked for me. Try it. And someone will say, oh my goodness, it worked for me too. So remember, you're not alone. You might be alone as a parent in that situation, but making sure you ask for help in partnership with everybody you're in contact with. Some people might say, how do I work in partnership with my child? My goodness, babies are the best partners you could ever have because they have a way of communicating. They have a way of connecting. And as they get older, of course, now they can verbalize their thoughts and now you can kind of have a discussion with them. But being a solo parent does not hinder you from building that relationship, especially an authentic relationship with your child, and reaching out to the network that is around you.
Absolutely. There's that phrase, isn't there, that it takes a village to raise a child. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. Thank you. The next question we had, I guess, goes to the outsourcing that you talked about, because they're saying they're thinking of getting a live-in housekeeper to try and reduce the pressures of house, schoolwork, business, tidying up. There's a long list that they've written, which I totally empathise with. But would you recommend that? Is that something that you would consider? I guess there is a cost implication, but just some advice around that they've asked for.
Fantastic. That's absolutely great. And I love the fact that you share that question, because I was in that situation as a single mother with my children and work and business and everything else. And I thought to myself, what are the things that I am great at? What are the things I am not great at? You know, and those were the kind of questions I asked myself to leverage. Now, of course, everybody's situation is different, because the way you handle perhaps the needs of your child, and this also comes with what your child needs, because some people have got children that have special additional needs, and as a result of that, they might need specialized help. Please get that help. Please reach out. If you do need someone to live in with you, be aware of the positives and the negatives of that. Of course, there are many. Of course, you will have someone that is there to support the child, maybe bring the child in from school, take the child to school while you're busy at meetings, which is great. Prepare the meals, clean the house. But sometimes you might think, oh my goodness, I've kind of lost my privacy in my home. So it's getting that fine balance. You might say, okay, you know what? I'd rather someone who comes in the morning and leaves in the evening. That might be a bit better if you're worried about privacy. But then get someone who does something better than you, more efficiently than you, and cheaper than you. I am not great at cleaning. I know that's not my strong point. I will get a cleaner. I am not great at washing my car. I will get someone to wash my car. You know, things like that. So I definitely look for something whereby the benefits outweigh the risks and you feel happy in yourself.
Brilliant, thank you. We've got another question around trying to maximize productivity. So this person has outlined that issue that you dropped around school hours. So they are available between 9:30 and 2:30 in their business, then they collect the kids, feed, bath, bed, and then have to go back to work from 7 to 11. So they're feeling that real burnout because they're having to split their working hours, and any advice around that really, so that they can maximize productivity. But I feel we all empathize with those really long days that come in.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Long days. I think I know them so well. I think when it comes to working hours, whether in your business or you're working a job, you need to recognize that, yes, sometimes there might be long days, but what makes a huge difference is how you structure the long days. One very important tool I recommend to everybody is a very beautiful one. It's shaped like a tomato. It's called the Pomodoro. It's just a timer. I love it so much, because what happens there is, even if I have got like a 12-hour block, a 6-hour block, a 4-hour block, I know that my Pomodoro is me working 25 minutes and having a 5-minute break. Because none of us, and I kind of say that in a very loose way, but maybe probably tighten it up a little bit. the focus we have on any particular task at any given time usually does not span more than 25 minutes, 30 minutes. For if you want to get focused, efficient work, and this is proven by science, you need to dedicate a time, focus on that, give yourself a break. The brain cells, what they do is when they're focused on something, dealing with a particular maybe learning module or a problem-solving module, it gets to a point where they need to store or arrange what you have picked up or imbibed. And as a result of that, guess what? They then present a time when they feel tired because you're not giving them the rest time. The rest time is when they do all the shelving. They are like the librarians. They would take all the stuff you've learned and shelve them, so that when you need them, they just go, oh, it's on shelf number 1 on level 3, and they bring it out for you. So using a Pomodoro is so important. And what I suggest as well is that improves your productivity. When you do it, 25 minutes, 5-minute break, you do 4 of that, and then you have a longer break.
Fantastic. Really, really helpful. And something you said also in your presentation around learning when your peak productivity is. So I think that's something I'm going to try and take away today as well, is think, right, when am I at my most effective, and I'll do and then leave some of the mundaner tasks for when I'm less productive, really. But I think that's probably planning as well. So fantastic. Well, those are all the questions. So that's really wonderful. So as I say, Dr. Dunni, thank you so much. That's been really brilliant. I'd like to just thank everybody for attending today. And if I found it really useful, if others have, then we'd love a Trustpilot review. We'd really appreciate it. And I guess just leaves us to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.